So we've known for a while that this year's watches are gonna be very boring refreshes you should skip, but thankfully next year's upgrades could be more substantial. And I know what you're thinking, oh my god, this is what all the YouTubers say. They always say to wait for next year's products. And yes, I won't deny that is a common theme in the space, but there is a reason next year's gonna be massive. And well, that's because next year marks 10 years since the watch first released. And if you remember how big the iPhone X was, you will understand why the Series X could also be a massive deal. So yes, let's delve into this. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this. It would be appreciated. This information comes from our favorite Apple guru, Mr. Gurmy, and basically he says that like Apple did with the iPhone, we can expect major upgrades for the Apple Watch when it celebrates its 10th birthday. Yes, the Apple Watch is no longer a small child, it's hitting double digits, and there's gonna be a massive party. Now, what are these groundbreaking changes gonna be? Well, it actually begins with some not so great news, because for those who have a humongous band collection, they're about to become redundant and useless. Yay! Mark Gurman says that Apple's making the Series X a lot thinner, which is a very Apple thing to do. It's probably going to be so thin you can bend it, but anyways, because they want to make the body thinner, the current mechanism for the bands just takes up too much space inside the body of the watch, and Apple would rather allocate that space towards a larger battery or other components. And honestly guys, I'm not against this. Yes, I know this sucks for those who have a large collection of bands, but let's be honest guys, were we really expecting Apple to support these bands forever? Because there surely will come a point where the technology gets too old and Apple wants to give us something new instead, especially when they're drastically changing the design, and so 10 years of the same old band mechanism was impressive enough, but it's time to move on guys. And Gurman does tell us the new band mechanism they're considering for the Series X could be magnetic, because we know Apple loves to chuck in magnets wherever they can. In fact, I totally see Apple rebranding this band mechanism as a version of MagSafe for the watch, because it sounds very cool and could do wonders for the marketing of this watch. I do wonder though, how secure will this be? Because right now, if you try and put a MagSafe wallet on the back of your iPhone, it easily comes off within seconds. And so couldn't a thief just swipe your watch off your wrist if it had magnets? Now, if I, a random guy who sits in his room 24/7, thought of this, I'm sure the hundreds of engineers cherry-picked by Timothy also thought of this. And just to save himself, Gurman says that he's unsure about this, so basically that means they're still testing this, and they could totally scrap this. And that's actually all Gurman tells us, but thankfully we don't have to rely on just his tidbits, because there are other big upgrades we've heard about, with the first thing being micro LED. Now yes, you may be thinking to yourself, I've heard a mini LED, but what's micro? Isn't bigger better? Well no, in the world of displays, smaller is better. So yes, micro LED is going to give us better colors, higher brightness, better contrast ratios, and also no burn-in. So basically in every aspect, it's an improvement. Now this rumor does make me wonder which watch is actually going to end up being the Series X. You see, last year we saw a shift in the range where the Ultra took the crown as the highest end best watch Apple sells with all the fancy features, and the Series 8 got demoted to just being the boring base version. And so with the rumors pointing towards the Ultra first getting the mini LED upgrades, will that end up being the Series 10, or will the Series 10 be the successor to the Series 9 and the Ultra gets neglected? I'm honestly not too sure, but it would make sense for, of course, the regular watch to get the display upgrades, but knowing Timothy, he wants more consumers to buy $800 extreme watches they don't need. So I could totally see Apple giving us an Apple Watch Series 10 Ultra Pro Max 5G. What a name. Anyways, whatever Apple ends up doing, at least there are patents that support the idea of an Apple Watch getting this upgrade pretty soon, so yes, I'm looking forward to it. Moving on to a report that's more specific that does indeed suggest the regular watch will get the special Series 10 makeover. We could apparently see bigger displays with this new redesign. The smaller size will now be 1.89 inches and the larger size is going to be 2.04 inches, and those are pretty big displays guys. For reference, the Ultra right now is 1.99 inches, so it's nice the regular watches are slowly creeping into that territory because I will always take a ginormous display on my watch so that everything is bigger for my crappy eyes. Now there is actually some confusion regarding the release of this watch, and I know some might be confused. There's confusion because you're probably thinking, is it really that hard to work out? We got a Series 8 last year, a Series 9 this year, and so guess what? With each year getting a bigger number, Series 10 is next year, right? Right? Well, actually, as per usual for Apple, it's not as crystal clear as it may seem. You see, this being the fancy Series 10, Apple wants us to release exactly when the Apple Watch turns 10, but the thing is, Apple Watch technically has two birthdays. There's the announcement date in September 2014, and the actual release date in March 2015, I believe. So yeah, which date does Apple choose? We're just not sure yet. Also, Gurman has said that Apple is considering slowing down the number of refreshes we get with the watch. As I've discussed many times on the channel, recent releases have been pretty stale for the most part, with last year's Series 8 giving us... what did it actually give? Oh, actually, just remembered there was some sort of new sensor for ovulation tracking, but of course only half the population could use that. And that was it, I think. And of course with the Series 9, it's going to have a slightly faster chip and a brand new pink color, but those are not must-have upgrades. And so I would not be against the Apple Watch moving to an 18-month or a 24-month refresh cycle instead. And actually that is kind of the norm for most Apple devices. Apart from the iPhone, it of course makes complete sense to release new iPhones every year because while those are also becoming more and more iterative, with one of the big features of iPhone 15 being thinner bezels, wow. Apple also makes a bucket load of cash with the iPhone. It's their flagship line, and so keeping up the yearly refresh cycle makes sense, but most iPads, Macs and AirPods don't get updated on a yearly basis, and so I think the Apple Watch should follow suit, and we see the Series 10 release in 2025 instead. Now I know some of you guys might be wondering, what about some new fancy health upgrades for the Series 10? Surely Apple has something planned because that's really the main way Apple convinces us to get the new models. Nowadays it seems all their recent ads on the watch convey the basic message that if you don't buy the watch, you will die. So buy it right now. We're definitely not blackmailing you. And well, yes, apparently Apple is currently researching strain gauge sensors to improve the Apple Watch's strength training features, which is great news for dense men like me. Look at my massive arms. But we've also heard about blood glucose monitoring in the works, and also blood pressure monitoring, which I could see Apple give us very soon because rivals like Samsung already have a version of this on their watches, and we can't let the Android plebs beat us when it comes to the number of sensors, so just chuck this into the Apple Watch ASAP, Timothy. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.